made it to the big one, The Avengers, directed by Joss Whedon back in 2012 and starring the biggest kids on the block. RDJ, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, newcomer Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hiddleston, and Samuel L. Jackson highlight the cast list for this movie. It's so easy to look back on this movie and admire how good it was, or to look at it and see how far they've come since then. But in 2012, this movie was scary. So much so that I almost didn't want it to come out. So much was riding on this movie. In my little child heart, I knew that if this movie bombed, it would be the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People asked so much of this movie. Could it juggle its all-star cast? Could it deliver as the first of this kind of ensemble film? Would this movie be any good? Well, like I mentioned last week though, we already know how this turned out. See, I enjoy most movie-going experiences I have, but there are those special ones that just stick with you for the rest of your life. This movie was one of them. At the end of the movie, I sat in my seat in the theater and I teared up. My heart was bursting with joy, and the only thing going through my mind was, they did it. They actually did it. I'm not gonna go and say that this is a perfect movie. I understand if certain people didn't or don't like it. It's not a movie meant for everyone, and there are things in the movie that might not work so well for certain people. But at the same time, I cannot deny that this movie made me feel. And should a good movie not first and foremost make you feel so strongly that your body struggles to comprehend it? This movie gave me one of the happiest experiences I ever felt in my life. Words cannot express how much joy it brought me to see Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Widow, and Hawkeye duke it out together on the big screen. I honestly don't know what to say about this movie that hasn't been said already. When The Avengers came out in 2012, it was trendy to gush about it and to celebrate its success. Now, it's become more cool to kind of bash it, to talk about its flaws, like it would seem edgy if you didn't like The Avengers, you know what I mean? But honestly, the only criticism I have of this movie is that it's not too great on rewatch. And that's only because nearly every frame of this movie is burned into my mind. I've so eagerly consumed the movie on my first watch that when watching it again multiple times throughout the years, I find that there's less to go back to. Once you've seen it, you've seen it. But really, this movie came out in an age where there was nothing quite like it. It was fresh and it was new, and for what it tried to do, it succeeded. There really is so much good in this movie. First of all, props have to go to the script. Joss Whedon's name has been kinda tarnished a little due to his work on Justice League, but his work, along with Zach Penn's, on this movie is phenomenal. They just get the characters, and they place them in situations where juicy interactions can come about. The way each character is realized script-wise is a comic book nerd's dream come true. Part of how well each character is realized is down to the actors as well. Everyone brings their A-game to this movie. Literally everyone. There's no use pointing out any one person, as they're all absolutely fine in this movie. They play off each other so well, and throughout the film there's a feel of fun and vibrance. It really does feel like a celebration, one where every viewer is invited to partake in. The action in this movie is also immensely enjoyable. Each set piece is fun, and each of the heroes tackle respective problems in their own unique way. The effects all look good, the choreography is good, each of them engage their audience in a special way. They pair up heroes together whose interactions and combat situations are explosive and astounding. Ever want to see Thor and Hulk do battle? Or how about see him duke it out with Tony? This movie's got all of that. What this movie also gave us was an amazing theme. The Avengers theme is now pretty iconic, and I'm so happy that it's being used to promote Infinity War right now. I get goosebumps whenever I hear it because it really takes me back to when I first saw this wonderful film. There's so much to say about this movie. I bet that I could let this video go on for an hour more and still miss out on something worth praising. The long story short is that this movie solidified Marvel's place in cinematic history. Sure, Iron Man was an extravagant entrance to the world of cinema, but The Avengers was the fulfillment of the promise made at the end of that movie. It's a movie that opened the film viewing audience's eyes to the potential in superhero movies and a shared cinematic universe. By the end of it, we were just as excited as much as we were happy, because we knew that these superheroes that we adored would come back. Why? Simply because we'll need them to. The love I have for this movie is irrevocable and irreplaceable. It's everything I wanted it to be and more. Maybe it hasn't aged in the best of ways, but there's no denying what this movie meant and continues to mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For that reason, I give it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, here we are at the end of Phase 1. No, the movies through Phase 1 aren't perfect. They've all got flaws, but they're all still beautiful in their own right. I have fond memories having seen all of them, and rewatching them this past month has been a lovely trip down memory lane. I've had a blast reviewing all these movies. I've learned a lot regarding editing, writing scripts, recording, etc., etc. And though none of my videos are perfect, I'm very proud of what I have made here and what I've been able to do on this platform so far. And I look forward to continuing to review these movies through Phase 2 and beyond. So next week, a movie that I think is probably the most divisive in the MCU.